Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm Benny from Capital College. Today's webinar is related to interior design programs. We have a many designing programs we are doing. If you need any more information about these our programs, please contact me. This webinar, and I'm just handing the mic to Ms. Khadija Yusuf. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming to this webinar session for interior design on space management and 2D design. So to get started with, we'll be talking today about space management in interior design and how important it is. So contrary to what you see, it's never about the physical appearance in interior design. It's about the relation of a person and the room. That is the most important aspect. All right, so when, let's say, for example, when you have an empty room, it is designed in such a way that it accommodates a person in a very comfortable manner. For example, we have a ceiling height which is not determined simply by a random value. It is determined by a person who's an average height of a person and the activity he does standing with his hands raised up and then leaving the space, the ceiling comes. So you can see this is how space and a person interacts. So this is where space management comes, and it's important we learn this. Now, let's say another example when it comes to even more detailed elements like furniture. Let's say we have a chair and table. The chair is designed in such a way that from the ground to the seat, the height is given where a person can sit very comfortably with his feet on the ground. All right. Similarly, even the table that's in front of us, let's say if it's a dining table, it's at a determined height where you can eat properly, or if you have a workstation where you can work with everything. When it comes to a coffee table, it's even a lower height because you're not interacting much with the table. It's just to keep things, right? So this is how important space management is. And I'll just explain a bit more, a few points to keep in mind about space management. So when it comes to space management, some points to keep in mind. Always define a definite path of movement. The circulation is very important, right? In the sense that when you have a room, a person should be able to come in and out seamlessly and should not disturb the other users in the room. So always define a path of circulation. This is the most important foundation when it comes to defining, because everything else, even the rooms, the furniture, everything else is designed with keeping in mind the circulation. Second point, define zones. When you have, let's say, a larger space, for example, we have a living room plus an area for kitchen, you have to define the zones on how much area the kitchen would take up, how much area the living room is taking up, and all this should be, again, with respect to leaving space for circulation. Next comes defining focal points. Now, when we have a movement, a circulation path, it starts obviously at an opening, a door, and then it ends either at another opening or it ends with a focal point. This is important, all right? Your circulation has to start with an opening and it has to end with either a focal point or another opening, like a door or a window, an entrance to another room. If it stops on a blank wall, this is known as a dead wall in interior design, and it's advised not to leave any walls like that, right? Because the movement of a person's eyes always follows, like when you enter a room, the person's eye always follows a path. And when you have a path that is left free for circulation, it always goes on that path and it should end at a focal point, right? Next comes about form follows function, another very important aspect. In this, we should always give priority to the usage of the space. When you get a room to design, you have to keep in mind the activities that we are going to follow. And then we have to think about the aesthetic part. So you can balance it with function, with the activity, but keep in mind what the room is used for. Your idea is not to beautify the space, it's to make the place comfortable, also at the same time make it look good in physical appearance, right? Then we come to visual perception. Now, while talking about visual perception, all these points we listed before, it's talking about the physical aspects on how we can do the space management. But here we have another aspect, that is the mind. The way a mind reacts in a room and it psychologically affects you. For example, let's say we have a very large room and we want to design it, we keep all the necessary furniture, and still we have a lot of space left. It feels a bit starky. When you're inside the room, you feel a feeling of very coldness, loneliness. So in this case, how you can manage space? All right, so in this case, what you can do is go for like bold colors, go for textures. Now, the good thing about textures, by textures, I mean textures on the wall of stone, different textures in upholstery. What happens is that when we use texture, we get a sense of warmth, all right, a sense of coziness. And that's how like the mind perceives, okay, this space is very cozy to me, even though physically it's very large. Vice versa, if you have a room which is really small, go for light colored paints so that it looks very airy and light. And for example, if you're placing a sofa, place it in such a way that it has legs and it's not directly touching the floor. So this gives a perception that there is space below the sofa and there's a lot of space in the room. So it's all about how the mind perceives it. All right, so keeping all this in mind, now let's say we have ideas, we have a room. So initially what you would do, you see the room, you decide what furniture to go in. But what happens is that when you have decided everything and when you bring in them, always when you place them, it happens to be that it's not like how you planned out, right? Because you're perceiving it with sight, you're seeing and you're deciding what goes where. And when it comes in real, it happens so that it doesn't look as good as you planned. So in this case, what we can do? So conventionally, we used method of hand drafting. People used to draw to scale. They used to draw plans and place the furnitures. But now we have the convenience of using softwares to achieve the same. and it's much more reliable, it's easier, and you can work faster with it. All right, so we're going to see a small demo on how we can do space planning with the AutoCAD software. It is a product from Autodesk. It's a widely used software for 2D design, all right, 2D drafting, making of plans, section elevations, etc. Very vital if you're interested in interior design and learning. This is very important for you to learn. So we're going to have a little demo, okay, and I'm going to show you a small plan, how to draw it, and how we can go about space management with this software. All right, so I'm going to open the software right now. So when we open the software, this is the first interface we see. And this is the most common interface for the newer versions. For the older ones, it's a bit different. Anyways, when we get started, we can always go for choosing a template by default. There are a few templates that's mentioned in AutoCAD that you can use. Now, keep in mind, we have two sets of unit system that we work with, that it's imperial and metric. Over here, we use metric. So we, by default, use a template that is already set in the units of millimeters. So over here, we're going to go ahead and use ACAD ISO. Right? There are a lot of other templates. It's not necessary to explain them now. But for now, ACAD ISO is for metric and ACAD is for imperial system. So I'm going to go with ACAD ISO. And this is how it opens. You have a workspace with grid system and you're free to draw. We have few menu options on top, few tools that helps in drawing. We have few settings for drawing, and here comes the most important part in AutoCAD. It's the command toolbar. Now, how AutoCAD works is that when you want to draw something, you tell the computer, you type in a command and tell the computer that you want to draw something, and the computer communicates back to you. For example, I want to draw a line. So I'm going to use these commands are basically short keys of these elements. So let's say for line, the short key is L. I'm going to type in L here. Okay, you can see I've typed in L. So they're giving me options on what all starts with L. So just L for now, and I'm just going to type in enter, L, enter. So as you can see, I typed in a command for the computer. Now the command, the bar is talking back to me. It's telling me to specify the first point. So I'm going to go ahead and click anywhere, and then another command comes from it. Specify the next point. We need definitely 2 points to draw a line. So there I go, and I get to draw a line. So this is how AutoCAD works. Whatever you want to draw, you command it to the computer, and then the computer communicates back to you. So for now, we are going to draw a small plan. I've already drawn. This is what we are going to draw. All right, so it's a very simple plan. I'm going to show you how to draw this plan, and what tools would be used to draw this, how to place the furniture, and how to go about orientation and this doing the space management. All right, so let's begin with, this is a very linear plan. We have the outer shape in the shape of a rectangle. So I'm going to go ahead and draw a rectangle. Okay. So when I said for line, we give the command L. For rectangle, the command is REC. So you can see it here. I'm going to type in REC. Enter. It's telling me to specify the first corner point. So I'm going to go ahead, click anywhere. So I can click again. So it's telling me specify the other corner point. So I can click anywhere and create a random rectangle. But in this case, I have specific dimension that I have to input. So, and it's telling me specify other corner point, or I have options. So in the options, I want to go with dimensions. Either I can click from here, or you can see it's highlighted blue, the letter. So I can just type in D. And now it's telling me to specify the length for the rectangle. So I'm going to go ahead. This is a 8 meter by 5 meter room. So I'm going to draw this drawing in centimeters. So I'm going to go ahead and type 800. Okay, that's in centimeters. Enter. Please keep watching the command bar. It's telling me to specify the width for the rectangles. I'm going to type in 500. Right, so I've got a rectangle that's 800 by 500. So this is an option for me to specify the corner point in it. I'm just going to click anywhere. a line. Now let's see what's next. We have another line. So instead of going ahead and drawing another line, we have an easier way to do it. Now this double line indicates when you're drawing a plan is basically what would happen if you would take your home or any building, cut it in a section and look from top. All right, so this view is known as plan. So when we do this, we always see the thickness of the wall. So next, provide a thickness for the wall. Generally, with residential design, we go from 15 to 20 centimeters. I'm going to go with 15. How to replicate this box at a distance of 15 centimeters? So we're going to use the option of offset. It's going to offset this line at a distance. The short key is enter. Now it tells me specify offset distance. I'm going to go with 15. I need to select the object and I'm going to select this and there it comes, right? So you can either offset it out or inside. This is going to be inside for now because dimensions are on the outside. So we have now a wall with thickness, and to exit from the command we always use escape. I'm going to draw the other part of this room. We have a balcony here. All right. This is at a random distance. I'm just going to go ahead and draw it. I'll type in the command L. Let's keep the distance at 285. So from this corner, as you can see, when I'm going to draw the line, it's showing me points on the line. So we have this feature where it defines points on the lines, and it's easier for us to start drawing. I want to start from these corners, and the point defining it is represented as a square. It's an endpoint symbol, all right? So I'm going to click here, and as you can see, this line has a flexibility to rotate in any direction. But as for now, we are drawing the plan in a linear mode. I'm going to restrict the movement of this line into 90 degrees. All right. So as I mentioned before, we have few settings here. And this one, it's the auto mode, means it's going to restrict the lines in 90 degrees. I'm going to on that. All right. So now my lines are restricted only in these direction, in 90 degrees. All right. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to type in 285. This is how you specify the distance for the line. Enter. Okay. My line has reached here. Now I'm going to give the going to go around 120 cm, then maybe a 300 cm length. Right. So I have drawn the balcony and that's done. Next would be, let's check the image. I'm going to create openings for this room. So let's go back. I'm going to create a 4-door sliding door, each of 70 cm. So first, let me just draw a rectangle. So rectangle again, REC, enter. And I'm going to give the dimensions. So something of a 70, each door would be 70 by 80 by 15, because that's the thickness of the wall. All right, so I've got this, and that's done. All right, so I'm going to move this here, which in a way it centralizes with the balcony. Right, so now for that, I'm just going to go ahead, draw a line from here. As you can see, when I'm going to draw the line and I want to start it from the center, it shows me a point that defines as midpoint. It's denoted by, I can draw the exact midpoint of the line. I don't have to measure it. By default, the AutoCAD gives us the position of the midpoint. So I'm just going to draw it and stop it. All right. Now comes in, we're going to move this window below so that it's aligned with the center of the balcony. So now comes the option of move. You're going to move this. So the command is M, enter. It's telling me to specify a base point to move it. So I want the midpoint of this to come in and align with midpoint of here. So I'm going to select midpoint and right. All right. So I've got the basic outline for the opening, and now next step is to draw it in a detailed manner. There's not much detail when you come, like when you draw more detailed plans. there's actually, you have to detail the doors in a very precise manner, but this is just a basic form. All right, so I'm gonna get the shape out of this. Right? For that, I'm gonna go ahead and draw a line in the center of this. Now I want equal divisions at dividing this into 4. So I'm going to use the option of offset, but before that, over here we have the rectangle that is selected as one object. I'm going to break this so that I'm able to select this line. All right, so I'm going to go ahead, and the command for this is explode, and the shortcut is X. So X, and I have this line alone. Right, so I'm going to go ahead, divide it. I'm going to set it at 70 and doing it, and have divided it, right? So next part is to trim few lines. I don't want these few lines here. So we have this wonderful option in AutoCAD to trim lines. It's very useful. All right, so the command is trim, and the shortcut is TR, but double enter. So TR goes with double enter, and you can delete these lines. Okay, I'm going to trim them. So we have got a plan for a basic sliding door. So once that's done, now let's see what else. We have to create 2 door openings. All right, so a door is in a plan. So go ahead, and from here, the line command again from the corner, I'm just going to give a random distance and draw a line. Right. So now doors have specific dimensions. When you're using them for like a larger room, it comes around 90. When it's an entrance, it's 1 meter. When it's a bathroom, it's 70 cm, and so on. All right. So for now, I'm going to use 90 centimeters. So I'm going to use the command of offset again, and O, enter. I'm going to specify the distance. That's 90. And there you go. All right. I'm going to escape from this command, and then I'm going to trim these lines because I want them to show that it's an opening and it's not a continuation of the wall. So TR again, double enter for trim the lines, and that's done. All right. So I'm going to quickly go ahead and do this as well in the same manner. I've got 2 door openings, and all my openings are done. Next would be to define the circulation path. Now, when we have 2 door openings, by default, this area right here has to be clutter-free or free of any furniture. Because in the sense that when a person is entering and leaving, there should be nothing that's obstructing in the person's path. So make sure you're not placing any furniture there. And to make sure of that, what we're going to do is, usually a circulation path comes around 90 cm minimum. Now let's keep it at 1 meter. So I'm going to offset this line here to create a circulation path just for now. And later on, we're going to delete it. All right. So I'm going to go ahead, use offset, and go for 100 centimeters. That is leaving 1 meter space. 100. So now I have got a circulation path here visible where I won't be placing any furniture. So this is proving as a guideline for me to not place any furniture beyond this point. Similar way, we have 2 entries here. Also, we have something important here, a balcony which has to be accessed. We have to connect this balcony to the circulation path here, and connection in such a way it's continuous, and again nothing should be in the way of it. Right, so I'm going to go ahead draw a line from the center of this. I'm going to offset at 50 so that it becomes 100 meters. And now I have got a path of circulation completely done. When a person is entering, he can leave from here. If he wants to go to the balcony, he can come here, and that path is clear. Now, any placement of the furniture further has to come either in this area or in this area, all right? Nothing should be in the path of movement. Now we're gonna see how to place furnitures. Designing a room and customize furnitures, obviously you have to draw those furnitures, you have to draw the plan of them. But if you just want to create and denote that there is a sofa there of so and so length, you can use something known as blocks. Okay, they are preset models that's available online. You can use them to denote the space in the sense that, as you can see in this image, I have placed these. I haven't drawn them. It's by default what we get. We have a lot of databases online to get these blocks. All right, so we can use them. So I have opened few here, and this is how it looks. You get plans of furnitures, you get their elevation models, and so I'm going to go ahead and choose a furniture. That's the sofa. I'm going to use a 2-seater and a 3-seater. These both look of the same dimension to me, so I'm going to select both of them. So please know this is open in another file. I'm bringing this block or this drawing from one file to another. All right, so you just need to select them, press Ctrl C as in copy, go back to your drawing and Ctrl V. Now, as you can see, the plan looks quite very small compared to the drawing that has appeared here. What happened? So over here, we mentioned the dimension to be, I'm just going to show you the dimension here. It was 500, all right? So we are working with centimeters, but apparently those who designed these blocks, they were working with millimeters, all right? So if I check the dimension of this, it's 800. So this amount, this unit is to millimeters while we are working with centimeters. So in AutoCAD, there is no specification where we can give the units. We just work with units and keep them in our mind, all right? It's a bit confusing, but once you get to learn it, it will be all right. So for now, you just need to know we are working with centimeters here, but the drawings we got here is in millimeters, and we have to scale them down so that they fit inside our plan, okay? So when we say this is of 800 millimeters, what we are looking for is 80 centimeters. So I'm going to go ahead and scale it down. So I'm going to select. So selection is basically click and drag. All right, so both of them are selected. Now we have the option to scale. So scaling comes in with the command S, C, enter. It's asking me to specify base point, so any point on the drawing. So I'm just going to click any point. So I can scale it to a factor. Now from 800, we have to go to 80. We're going one decimal back. So the scale factor is going to be 0.1. All right, so if I type in 0.1, the scale factor, and press, you can see it is scaled down to a size that is going to fit in our drawing. Right, the scale is a bit confusing, but you can learn about it later. So now we have got the drawings here. The sofa is ready to go into the room, and we're going to move them. Again, the command for move is M. All right, so M, enter. So as you can see, the movement is restricted only in 90 degrees. That's because this is on. We can off that and just place them. Next comes in on how to rotate these furniture so they are aligned properly on how we want it to be designed. So this one goes in, this goes here and it's facing the side. So I'm going to rotate it. All right. So here I'm going to select it. The option for rotation is RO. The command is RO. I'm going to specify base point and it rotates freely. But now I just wanted to rotate in a 90 degree. I don't want it to rotate freely. It's going to be a bit open when I end it. So I'm going to on this again and have it rotated in the so this is the way I want the sofa to be facing the other side, and it's done. All right. Same way, we're going to rotate this as well. But instead of rotating this, we have another option because as you can see, this sofa is facing down. I wanted to face this mirror. All right, I'm going to mirror this drawing so that it faces the other side. So the option for this comes as selected, MI. Okay, select the object. and enter. Now it's telling me to draw a mirror line. So a mirror line, basically, when you draw any direction, it reflects the object opposite to that. So if I draw it like that, it reflects vertically. If I draw it like this, it reflects horizontally. Let me just try. Telling me erase source of object. It's asking me should it erase? Yes. And then we have got it oriented to the direction we want. We're going to go ahead and move it. So I'm going to move this first. M is the command. I'm going to move it freely. So I'm going to off this. Right. Move this one as well. Right. This needs to be moved again. And there. So using the move command and the rotation and mirror command, we have changed the orientation and the spacing of these furnitures. Next comes in, let's say we want to place a dining. All right. So again, I have few presets here. I'm just going to go ahead and select this, Control C, and I'm going to go back and it's Control V. As you can see, it's not visible much. Now what happened here is that I will show you the dimension here comes to, I'm going to check the dimension, and as you can see here, it's mentioned 1.6. Now this is in meters. The person who drew this put in meters because 1.6 obviously can't be a 1.6 centimeters table. It has to be a 1.6 meter table. Now in this case, what we have to do, we have to convert it again to centimeters. So we use the option of scaling and base point. Now we have to move 2 decimals. So after 1, 2 zeros, I'm going to type the scale as 100. Out. I've got the size that is able to go inside the room. Right. So I'm going to go ahead, select, move it, and place it. So now, again, going back to space management, when you place these furnitures, you have to keep in mind that perfect distance, it has to be from the wall so that when you drag the chair, it doesn't hit. A person is able to come in comfortably. A person is able to walk around it comfortably. So you have to keep in all this mind and place it. So this is where software becomes efficient. You can from like how much is it spaced from the wall and accordingly, right? So you can go ahead and create the rest of the furnitures. Let's say we have a table here for the TV. You can go ahead and do that. I'm just going to do it randomly. Right. Maybe you want to keep a coffee table that can come here. You want to have a smaller coffee table here, just circular in shape. So for circle, the command is C. C and enter. Coffee table here, and so on and so forth, right? Right. And again, now this is only a small part of the efficiency of the software that I'm showing here. Obviously, there's a lot that can be done here, but you get the general idea on how you can draft a plan, how you can bring in furnitures, or you can even draw them, and how you can change its orientation, measure the distance between each of them, and do your space planning here. So whatever you do exactly here can be, what do you say, it can be designed to have it in, produce it in real life. All right. So that's all. And these are rest drawn again by their the door. This is the symbolism of the door. This is how a door is symbolized. Some furnitures you can place plants, you can do like what would look good here. Maybe you want to keep another chair here, how that would affect a person coming in. And all this is open for you to try out, right? So this is maybe just like a 1% of how efficient the software is, but this is the this is how we can achieve when you have ideas in your mind and you put them in a physical form. This is how this software can help us. All right. So thank you all for joining the session today. And If you guys have any questions, please feel free to, I'll be answering them right now.
Yeah, the site contract is available with me.
Okay, so I have a question on how to add the dimensions on the side. So I'm going to just quickly show them to you. So for dimension, as I said, I just explained on how to use only these few tools. I haven't explained these. They are very good, efficient ones, but I'll show you how to do the dimension. So dimension is mentioned here. All right, so you can go ahead, click that, or you can type in DIN. And then let's say I'm going to dimension this part. I'm going to click on the first corner and the ending corner, second click, and if I drag it out, it's going to give me the dimension of the rectangle. All right, similarly again, if I want to do it, let's
दूध
we are drawing a room of 5 meter by 8 meter, and here you can see the dimensions. We have further properties to adjust these dimensions. You can adjust these, and you can even adjust these marks over here. All right.
दूध को वो करके क्या बोलते हैं धो के वो मैं बाहर देखती हूँ हाँ मैं देखती हूँ
I have unmuted as well, so if you have any questions, you're free to ask. Okay, would it be best to design in 3D and then the 2D plan would be automated from the 3D model? We have a restriction. Alright, so you can do a 3D model and get a 2D drawing from it, but this is completely another software. From Autodesk, there is the software of Revit, where you can do your 3D model and then further produce the 2D drawings from it. But when you're going for designing, it's always best to start with 2D first, because even in 3D, you can view the space, but again, the dimensions and all become a bit unclear when you're doing it in a perspective. All right, so it's always better to see it in first 2D and then convert it to a 3D. But if at all you have you want to obtain a 2D drawing from a 3D design, we have that option with other software. Okay, you want me to explain the offset option again? All right. Okay, I'll show that again. I'll just answer a few other questions as well. What other softwares can we use instead of AutoCAD maybe? So for 2D drawing, I would suggest only AutoCAD, because this is what everyone uses. There are other softwares which are not that well known. Right? Software that is well known for 2D is AutoCAD itself. For 3D, we have a lot of other good options. For 2D, it's always AutoCAD.
Did you open it?
Right. Any other questions?
How is it connected to Wi-Fi?
If you want to learn in detail about AutoCAD, it's always, you can always contact our course. Have certificate courses in AutoCAD, or even if you want to go for the theoretical side of it, of learning space management in detail, we have that too as well. All right, I want to show the offset again because someone asked for it. Just quickly, I'm going to show that.
Naima.
Okay. So I just draw a line here.
Maria.
And then the option of offset, you can enter. It's telling me to set a distance. So let's say I want to put this distance of 40. So enter, select the object and offset it to whichever side you want. All right, just follow the commands that the computer is asking you and do it. Right, escape. Anything else? Someone is asking about what is advisable to use for interior design, 3ds Max or SketchUp. SketchUp is pretty easy for beginners. So if you're a beginner, it would be good to start with SketchUp. And or for a more advanced 3D software, 3ds Max is better. I have another question of how to make the external wall thicker in same plan. So if it's regarding offset, you have to increase the offset size when you're doing it. But if you're talking in terms of the line thickness, we have options in AutoCAD to change the line thickness as well. Someone has asked about furniture design. We actually have a webinar session coming up on furniture design as well. So you can look out for the sessions. They would be announced before itself. So thank you all. Hope everyone is staying healthy and hope to see you again in further web sessions.